Evening guys, welcome to the Fantasy Panda YouTube channel where we're here to talk about game week 1 of FPL. Now the dust has settled and a few days have passed. Some of us have had great scores, some of us had average scores, some of us are disappointed with 58s. We'll talk about that in a second, but in terms of game weeks, all premiums delivering. There's some massive scores out there and I think the average, 65 is probably the highest I've seen in game week 1 for a long time. So good on you for the scores out there, and if you triple captain Raheem Sterling, well, congratulations. Just quickly, I've changed up the interface again, so now I've still got my team in here, but now I've added on the bottom right, instead of my old score, I've now got the Fantasy Panda League, which obviously I was pushing in the pre-season. We're at 2,500 players at one point, and I think that was on my last video, it was 2,500, but on this video, I'm pleased to say there was over 5,000 sign-ups on the league, so yeah, big thank you for that support, really, because I've set it up, I didn't expect much out of it, and you got 5,000 people from around the world competing, which is absolutely insane, so thank you for joining. Yeah, and then obviously I've still got my league in here, I've got my official rank just down the bottom here, which if you add all my ranks from last season up, and potentially half the season before that, it probably wouldn't equal that, but it's game week 1, and I'll talk about the process going forward for that, so I'm not disappointed at all, it's just how it is. Okay, so just looking at my team here for game week 1, I'll talk about my team first and a few of the little trends later on. But Edison was a 7-point for keeper. You're always happy with that. De Gea was my other choice that I put out on Twitter not long before. I think he got 10s, but you know, it's all hindsight. Who would have said Robertson would have been the only Liverpool player not to return at the back? So out of the top 3, with Van Dijk scoring and Trent getting assists. So the rub of the green sometimes. Villa scoring first, Alderweireld on 2. Rico, well, I called him Reek no. Late on, is heartbreaker. You know, you think you're getting a 4 mil cover because he come off the bench for Charlie Taylor. You think you're getting a 6-pointer from a 4 mil. You're delighted. I think there's quite a lot of you had Wan-Bissaka last year. I had Wan-Bissaka, but he was on my bench first game for the 12 points against Fulham, or 13, whatever he got. But when you get a 6-point clean sheet from a 4 mil, it feels like the biggest steal of the century. So when Rico, I was chanting his name around the league, Rico, Rico, and then it went to Reek no, and Billy Sharp bundled that rebound and that squabble in the box. So, hey, he's still got more points than Kurt Zuma, which has everything you need to know about Kurt Zuma. I'm not going to even mention his name. Mo Salah, captain returns within 20 minutes. Absolutely delighted with how that went. You know, I thought he looked dangerous and he was in behind, and once that chance come forward and scored, the fact he's on corners, I think he's going to return a few more assists on that left-hand side, especially the way Van Dijk powered that header in. Ryan Fraser, typical Ryan Fraser trolling, booked for being a nugget. Home didn't have a shot in the first half, I don't think, so one to keep a close eye on going forward. But, you know, it's game week 1. You can't panic because they've had one bad week. You put your players in there for a reason. You've got to trust the process for 5 to 6 weeks. Richarlison, 3 points. That sounds like Richarlison. He usually starts really well. That was mine. You know, I think he scored 2 against Wolves, and the year before Watford he started really well. But I ain't going to pull the plug. He's got a home game next against Watford, who obviously league 3 against Brighton. So yeah, you've got to stick with it. You can't go making changes. Dwight McNeil, you know, both goals come from the left-hand side. Unfortunately, it was the left back, and unfortunately, it wasn't the left back that I selected, Charlie Taylor. It was Peters who come in for Taylor. So my thoughts with McNeil were right. It just, Burnley scored 3 at home to Southampton, and I really fancy Burnley to win. Hence why I said about Taylor and McNeil. Unfortunately, my players weren't the ones that were involved, but at least my thought processes behind that result were correct. Harry Kane, you know, I thought he didn't really do a lot first half. You know, he kind of bobbled around, didn't really threaten behind, he was dropping in, but didn't really look like he was going to score anytime soon. I think he had one header that he put over the bar. But when them chances come to him in that second half, when that game when that game opened up a little bit and Villa tired, Christ was he potent. Like, one touch left foot, bang, goal. You know, comes to him on the right foot. You just fancied him to score every single time in them little scenarios. If he can get in the box instead of having his back to goal, the guy's going to be top scorer in the league, guaranteed. You know, I'll put that out there. But he's got to be in the box facing the goal. He can't be 35 yards deep with his back to it with no runners on. I thought Eriksen changed the game for Spurs. Kane definitely looked more dangerous when Eriksen was on when he wasn't, because I think it allowed him a bit more creativity behind from Spurs, which allowed Kane to be a bit more brave going forward. So yeah, it's one to watch. But I think Kane, if he can play in that body, he'll be top scorer. Deeney, Watford, yeah, I think that's just one of those freak first games for Watford. I just can't put my finger on it. I never saw that coming, never fancied it. But you know, with Everton, Everton are a team you throw in the end with the whole Everton Watford rivalry. I'm going to keep Deeney this week. So just looking at my bench, Woodman explains I've got him on there as the keeper. I put him in because he's got no value, no ownership, so he won't go down to 3.9 million because there won't be a sudden surge of people leaving him, etc. Charlie Taylor, obviously I've explained about Burnley. Bernardo Silva was the killer. Bernardo Silva was an absolute killer. You know, Man City scored 5 goals. He would have been involved in at least a couple. But there he was, sat on the bench at the London Stadium, just watching it all go by as Jesus and De Bruyne and Sterling went wild. And you just got to sit there and accept that's the game, isn't it? You play this game, you put your players out there, and if they come and play, they play. If they don't, what can you do about it? You can't control it. You just got to watch back and see how it goes and just keep an eye on it. And obviously, Mason Greenwood was the pre-season hype man. For me, he's just a fodder sub because I'm never going to play free at front. I saw some people starting because they thought, yeah, but Solskjaer said he has got no worries about playing him, but I just couldn't see him starting in terms of a game at Old Trafford against Chelsea. But, he might pick up 1 point here and there, but as fodder, I'm not worried about him at all. So, yes, it wasn't the best of weeks. Well, when I say that, in terms of the average, in terms of what people were scoring, it wasn't the best of weeks, but I've always looked at averaging 60 a week, so I'm not despondent. I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm sulking like mad, I hate FPL, I don't want to play, blah, blah, blah. No, it just puts you in a different perspective. Last year I got flying out the gate and I was about 82,000 in the world. This year I'm 3.6 million. It just sends you a new challenge, a new task. You got to catch people up, you got to chase people. Instead of last year when I went flying out ahead and I just kept myself in that gap all season, I've got a new challenge. You just embrace that challenge, you embrace that grind, and you go forward and you got to go and catch people. So it's going to be a different way of playing, especially coming from this far back now. A lot of my mini leagues, I'm on a lot of the way down, 3/4 of the way down in certain leagues. It's just going to be a new challenge, and I'm quite looking forward to seeing how I'll do with that challenge. So yeah, 3.632 million is a long way down, which you wouldn't want on game week 1, but I'd rather be game week 1 than game week 21. So I've got a long time to recover. Just look at the Fantasy Panda League, obviously, that puts me quite a way beyond the leader, which is Savad Salam, who's on 124, and his team's called Man City, so he's set off like the team he obviously supports at the top, gone blistering ahead. So he's the guy to catch on 124, and then you've got you've got Roman Salah on 122, and then Akar Jalil on 121. A little bit of a gap before Stanley Surveyo and Noor Abu Salah on 115, 114. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of chopping and changing in there, and obviously the August manager month gets 10 quid, so make sure you keep checking if you're near them type of score range because obviously it adds up. So yeah, that's roughly where my game week stands. Looking forward to going into game week 2. Looking at my team, obviously Alderweireld's got City away, which you wouldn't fancy. I'm keeping Kane in because I still think Kane can score up at the Etihad. But obviously you're now looking at players that are playing against each other in terms of you've got Richarlison Deeney trade off. You've got Kane against Ederson trade off. You've got Liverpool at Southampton, so Salah will be staying captain. I really fancy Liverpool to get a result there. So obviously, but Roberts and Salah are locked. You wouldn't change them anyway. Bournemouth Villa, I think that's going to be a tough game. Would it surprise you if Bournemouth came out and won that game 3-0? This is Bournemouth. Villa played so well at Spurs. How many times have you seen Bournemouth when they've been not fancied come out and get something, especially away from it's crazy old team. So I think I'm just going to have to stick in there with Rico and Fraser and just really bite my tongue and I hope that they can perform something. Zuma as well with Leicester, he could be dropped. I think I wouldn't surprise me if they dropped him. But he's got to stay in for now, and I've got enough cover around to go wild. So hopefully Bernardo Silva can come back in and it'll leave me a little bit of change in terms of that. Burnley have obviously got Arsenal. Charlie Taylor and McNeil. I've got something to think about in terms of whether I go McNeil out, maybe Grealish in, but then you're playing a trade off against Bournemouth, or do I just sit tight on the transfer? But that's Thursday and Friday's reading. I'm just looking at my team from the last 7 days. I'm trying to put these questions in my head going forward. Going from there. So I'm just going to get the statistics up. So I'll get the results up first. So we had the Leicester Wolves game, which was 0-0. I had a great question from Isaac Shenton who said, do I go King or Jota? Where the games have gone in both of them games, I think you flip a coin. Personally, I'll probably go Josh King just because of the fixtures and the way they got Man United next. I was very impressed with Wan-Bissaka. I thought he was absolutely excellent at the weekend. I think you're looking at the bonus points he's going to score if they can keep clean sheets going. I think he's going to be well worth it on fantasy at 5.5, 5.6, 5.7 or 5.8, what he'll be in the next 6 weeks before the international break, I think, which is early September 8th, September 7th when England play. So yeah, it's something to definitely work on in that one. Arsenal-Newcastle, I was really impressed with Joel Linton, to be fair. I thought he was quite a handful up front. He's got a unique size and strength. I think he could be an asset. Newcastle fixtures turn better. Arsenal, obviously, the Aubameyang, great player. That goal he took was fantastic. And I think his fixtures, I think there's been a lot of talk on Twitter about do we put him in for Kane, then you take Kane out, and then I think it's Aubameyang from week 6, week 7. It's got a fixture run up to the middle of December that is absolutely incredible. So I think he'd be looking at him going forwards, thinking, well, Aubameyang could have an 8-week spell here where he outscores everyone. Man United, Chelsea, I never saw it coming. I thought Chelsea started really well. If Abraham's shot, it doesn't hit the post and go in. It's all ifs and buts. Was it flattering? Potentially, but you look at Chelsea and you do have to wonder if a certain player is good enough. Zuma being one who's in my team, so I have to a little bit of worry. Just going back to the results, Man City 5-0, obviously. Sterling, Man City are just too good, aren't they? Let's be honest. They're absolutely phenomenal. I think Laporte doesn't get enough credit. Everyone goes on about Van Dijk and people have been going about Maguire, but Laporte's got to be up there. And considering Man City wanted Laporte and Van Dijk in the same January transfer window at one point, could you imagine if they got those two together? That wouldn't be fair in the slightest. But, going back to the Bournemouth Sheffield United game, Billy Sharp, did he play 8 minutes? I think it was 8 minutes and got 3 bonus points. What an enigma of a player. He's been round for long. He's been round longer than Stonehenge. He keeps turning up, keeps scoring goals, and it was great to see him celebrate in front of his fans. And what I did like, which I think VR is going to ruin, is them little moments of him, someone like a club legend like him scoring in that. Could you imagine if that goal was taken away because of a rogue handball, like a bit like the Bolly goal for, the Bolly assist for Dendocker? Could you imagine if that was taken away, them Sheffield United fans? That moment gone, VAR has a few questions in terms of match atmosphere. But they get it right because the money's so big, they get it right, they sort it out. But I think it'd just take a bit of time to get going. Burnley Southampton, I've mentioned Burnley. Palace Everton, I was really disappointed with Everton not being able to score at Palace. Obviously, when they went down to 10 men, I thought they held on well. Palace, they're one of those teams you just can never get really excited about for me. Brighton, I owe Brighton fans an apology. I still think you'll be struggling. I think once team figure out, I think Watford were really naive on the day. Brighton, Neil Mapai, I think is a fantastic player. He could work out well, and I think in fantasy he may be a player to watch in there. Mentioned Spurs already with the Kane and Ericsson debate and Alderweireld, and Liverpool. Norwich, fair play Norwich, they tried, but why were they so open, I don't know. That was over in the first half, and I think Liverpool really took Trent Alexander-Arnold. Christ, he went wandering at times to get him behind, and you have to say for Norwich, Buendia and Pukki looked brilliant. I put Buendia up in the summer, but you're never going to start him against Liverpool. When you got that assist, you just got to shake your head sometimes, But that's the game. That is the game we play, and that's why we love this fantasy Premier League stuff. Even when you're having a perceived bad week in score or rank, you do enjoy yourself. So I'm just going to look at the point scores. So Sterling obviously was the top point scorer of 20 with a 37.2 selection. Hence why my rank was so low, because I don't own him. You've got that many players who've got him at 20, some triple cap, some cap. You're looking at a standard game week in points for Sterling. So congratulations to those players. Peters, who replaced Charlie Taylor with 14. Yeah, that's one that hurts, but you kind of let it go. Mahrez, well, no one saw Mahrez playing. Could that have been Bernardo Silva? Ifs, buts, and maybes once again. The Ashley Barnes train rolls on with 13 points, and Marcus Rashford 13 with Kane. Maitland-Niles was one I never saw coming. I know Iwobi's gone, so I think they've got to be a lot more confident in him. I think he's 3.4% owned, looking at this quickly. Yeah, he's 3.4% owned. So if you can get on Maitland-Niles, you've got a game changer there. So I just go back to Barnes, he's 3% owned as well, so some definitely differentials in there. Salah with his 12 at 45.3. Origi, there was a few people who took a punt on Origi. Congratulations, you deserve all your 12 points, because yes, people said Mane wasn't going to play, but you just never, you just don't know. I remember there was a time last year he said he was going to rest one of the three, and all three turned up and played. Dunk, there was a lot of people who had Dunk on the bench, unfortunately, with his 11 points because he didn't go to Leicester. But 11 points if you put him in away to Watford. You got the assist and the free, fantastic. I'm just going to go down. I'm going to skip a few like Meepham, David De Gea. I've already mentioned Matt Ryan doing Matt Ryan things. Goodmunson scored. Mina, Pereira. Here we go. Pereira. I think he had the most touches in the attacking half of any player in the league this weekend. When their fixtures change, I think he's great value. I know he's 6 million, but his value, I think, in terms of attacking areas of the box as a fullback, I think he's going to be up there with what Doherty was last year. I think he may have outscored Doherty last year by a point or two. So I definitely want to keep an eye on when Leicester's fixtures change. Paul Pogba, no one fancied Paul Pogba. I think it was 9% last year. He was up in his late 20s after that spell. He got 9 points with 2 assists. He just one of those players, and he frustrates you. You watch him for 60 minutes, and then he does something brilliant. You think, why couldn't you do that last 60 minutes? The enigma, that's Paul Pogba. Willy Bolly with another 9 points. Fantastic player. I really like him. I had him last year when he was a little bit less money. I think he's 4.5 for this year. He's 5, and he should have really put that corner away against Leicester, but he's still got 9.3 bonus. I think he's a bit of a heading machine. So yeah, Van Dijk got 8. Walker was 8. Wan-Bissaka 8. These are players that people have put in, took out, put in, took out. I think a lot of people stuck with Wan-Bissaka in 35.1. Is that the Man United fan factor? Most probably is. I think that number's going to be, that's the lowest that number would be for a long time, 35.1. I can see him being in the 40s in a few weeks, Wan-Bissaka. And John McGinn, 7 million. There's one player I want to find, and he is down here somewhere. Here he is. And that's Callum Chambers for Arsenal. All week. I thought, yeah, 4.5, that's great value for an Arsenal defender. 1.1% owned. He's going to play with all their injuries, etc. You take him out and he gets a clean sheet. Welcome to Fantasy Premier League. Welcome back from the summer break. Absolutely fantastic. But hey, you can't moan, you can't lie about it. You just got to get on with it and enjoy the game. So, just looking forward into the next few weeks of what's going ahead. There is fixtures left, right and centre. I'm just going to load up the fixtures so I can have a look at next week and the player transfer I think I'm going to go with. And that is Dwight McNeil to Jack Grealish is the one I'm looking at. There's a few people out there saying maybe get rid of Deeney for Neil Mapai. They got West Ham. But, you know, I think I'm going to take McNeil out and then bring him back in a few weeks' time. Going forward from there. Just quickly a few shout-outs. FPL Stone Cold. Everyone loves Stone Cold Steve Austin from wrestling. He's got the account that's got his face on it and he used a few of his quotes. So a big shout out to him because he's been interacting with a lot of my stuff lately. Zebra and Octopus, you know exactly who you are. You're in on these videos, tracking everything I'm doing. You know exactly what I'm saying. I'm going to hear from you in about half an hour's time when I upload this video. So Zebra, Octopus, Snakes. Isaac Shenton, he asked me a great question on Twitter about King or Yotta. I mentioned it a second ago, but I just want to make sure I give him a little bit of a shout out because he's asked me 20 to 30 questions about little bits and bobs, how to interact with the game, what would be the desktop or app. I use the app on my phone because I'm out a lot, but I always, and there's a little bit of advice, is triple check on the desktop scenario after I've used the app. So there's definitely buggy at the weekend. The scores not coming through, so I made sure when I went out and watched the Liverpool game I think I went out at 7 o'clock just after the deadline. So I made sure before I went out, before I got my lift to go down the pub and watch it, 6:45, checked the app. The app said it was fine. Went on the desktop, just double checked the desktop. Said double check the screenshot of the desktop. I had a scenario not this season, the season before. Aguero got, I think it was 12 points in the app, and he said he had a 9. So I contacted the FPL through the desktop, and they recorrected my score and added me the 3 points on, which was 6 because I had him captain. So I'd always screenshot your little bits and bobs before games, and you can just delete them off your camera or if you've got an iPhone. But always do the app and the desktop, so you just got yourself covered. Because for me, the app's very quick. I can use it really quickly on the go at work or when I'm in between little bits and bobs. Sometimes loading to the desktop can take forever, especially on the phone, because I'm not really at this computer that often. But on a Friday night, come in, double check everything I've done all week on the desktop on the computer. So that's where I'd go from there. Just quickly as well, there's obviously some more feedback coming in about all this stuff, which is much appreciated. Whether that stuff will keep coming in as the rank drops, who knows? But big thank you to all those guys once again. So yeah, thank you. Just going to end it on that really. I don't know how long that video was. I just spurting off about my team, spurting off about my little bits and trends and about fixtures, and I'll answer a few things on Twitter on Thursday, Friday. If you've ever got any questions, just hit me up on the messages on YouTube. YouTube's been brilliant, to be fair. I've got 70 subscribers now. I started a couple of weeks ago with 0, so I'm getting towards that magic 100 where I can get a certified URL, which is fantastic. That'd be nice just to be able to put Fantasy Panda and be able to link it straight off instead of having to put all these different codes and bobs in. But yeah, that'd be much better. So yeah, big thank you for joining in. If you've got any questions you want to fire away, just ask me underneath this video or ask me on Twitter or just send me a message. It'd be brilliant. So yeah, cheers for watching and all the best, and I'll be in touch with my team on Friday. Thank you.